Yeah, so I think they would look. Prasidh Krishna is another strong bet. Prasidh Krishna.
Prasidh's played for them also in the past.
Yes,
so they could go back to Prasidh. Avesh has done well for them, so Avesh
Would be too expensive though.
No, would he?
No, I think 10 crores. Okay. So Avesh Khan is one name that you guys would want to freeze on. Maybe a Prasidh Krishna as well. That's two, and one more.
If they can get
Washington.
Khalil Ahmed, Washi Sundar as a spinner. I'm looking at a pace bowler. If they can get, they don't have that kind of purse, but I think that will be a very good combination. Khalil, in any case, plays for Rajasthan at the state level. So I think that will be a strong buy for them if they can get Khalil, a left-arm seam bowler. I think if I'm looking at Rahul Dravid's mindset, he would love to have that kind of variation in the mix.
Love how you picked all bowlers for
Could we
Rajasthan.
pull up the spinners list though, please?
For Rajasthan Royals?
Yeah, for Rajasthan Royals.
Yeah, why not?
Because I feel like in the spinners, because they're going to lose both Ashwin and Chahal, they'll need a good spinner or two in the mix. Okay. So Tikshana could be someone that they go for. Gazanfar could be someone that they actually go for because he could be a pretty decent buy. Rahul Chahar, I have a feeling could go heavily. There could be competition between him and PC for Mumbai Indians. So I would
one name for
one
RR.
name. I go Tikshana.
Thank you. Tikshana, is it? Tikshana and Washington Sundar are the two spinners with a lot of pace bowling options. Avesh, Prasidh Krishna, possibly even a Khalil Ahmed for Rajasthan Royals, but with just 41 crores, they'll need to be really, really smart.
The biggest headline of this year's retention was Delhi Capitals letting go of Rishabh Pant, a move that surprised everyone. DC retained Akshar Patel, Kuldeep Yadav, Tristan Stubbs, and along with them, Abhishek Porel as an uncapped player. With 73 crore rupees and 2 RTM options, the Capitals have a lot to do during the auctions.
With Delhi Capitals, the retention list did not feature a certain Rishabh Pant, so which means they could possibly go shopping for a captain in the auction. Abhishek Porel retained as an uncapped keeper. Tristan Stubbs, Akshar Patel, Kuldeep Yadav with still a purse of 73 crores. Let's pull out the big pool. And who goes to DC? Do they use their RTM cards? Which ones are those before we discuss the captain, which is the elephant in the room? But RTM cards, who do you pick? Jake Fraser McGurk is an option. Mukesh Kumar, Khalil Ahmed, got multiple options there.
I'd go Jake Fraser McGurk because of his success there in the last season. Although he hasn't scored a lot of runs in the last 12 months, I'd still kind of persist with him because he's done well, and these venues can sometimes give you the feeling that you can always do well there. He's right there on the second list, so right next to him, he's another guy I think who will potentially go to DC as well, perhaps in that leadership role for me.
Okay,
I'm looking at they will go for Shreyas Iyer as a leader. If they can't get him, then Akshar Patel is an ideal choice for DC. He has done that in the past whenever Rishabh was not available, and I think he can fill in that role. But Jake Fraser, Robbie is absolutely right. Retention, RTM, multiple options. Either you go for Mukesh Kumar or for Khalil. I think one of them they will go for, because Mukesh has been brilliant in T20 games for DC, and so same goes with Khalil. It depends if they want to have a left arm seam bowler, then they will go with Khalil. Otherwise Mukesh Kumar.
Any other overseas pacer? Quick one, because they've always liked that tall.
Andrik Nokia, and I think they can go back to him.
Okay.
They can go back to Andrik Nokia and say, you know what, we'll use the right to match for him.
They would love to get a new ball bowler who will pick them wickets. And I think Rabada, that is why he's been successful. Same with Andrik Nokia. And I think Nokia especially has got the ability to pick wickets with the new ball and also in the death over. So I think they would love to get somebody who's a complete bowler who can bowl for them in different phases of the game. So either Nokia or Rabada.
Wow, I love the fact that we picked 5 players for DC with Shreyas Iyer as potential leader for Delhi Capitals, Jake Fraser McGurk as an RTM option, possibly Mukesh Kumar or Khalil Ahmed, one of the pacers, whoever comes quite cheap, perhaps for Delhi Capitals as an RTM card. and then maybe even an Andrik Nokia or a Kagiso Rabada at Delhi Capitals.
Let's talk about Heinrich Klaassen, who has been retained at a whopping 23 crore rupees by SRH. Along with him, the Sunrisers have retained their skipper Pat Cummins, Travis Head, Abhishek Sharma and all-rounder Nitish Reddy as they look to add on to their explosive lineup at the auctions.
The most expensive player thus far in the IPL retentions list, that was Heinrich Klaassen, the explosive opening duo of Abhishek Sharma and Travis Head. Nitish Kumar Reddy, an all-rounder, retained as well. They've got one RTM left in terms of an uncapped pick. Pat Cummins will stay on as leader. SRH have spent a lot of money on their players. They've still got 45 crores to pick from. Who will be their priority? A spinner, or does Cummins trust his pace bowling unit? Please don't say Bhuvi once again. Let's pick out other names from the big pool.
The right to match? No. Ideally, they would want to go for a good spinner.
Mayank Markanday,
of course, is a great option.
Because Mayank has been playing regularly for Punjab in all three formats again. I mean, a young cricketer who's coming in and who wants to play all three formats, shows a desire to learn. And I think there are a number of options here. But
Zampa.
It's a Kiwi coach, so I'm going to pull Santner in as well. So pick one name from the spinners pool.
I'd go Zampa. Knowing the Aussie mentality, I'd go Zampa.
Okay.
I don't mind going for Noor because they need wicket-taking options here. I think Noor has been phenomenal for Gujarat Titans, so why not Noor? And then Pat Cummins can look at some other pace bowlers to be in the 11s.
Right to match there. They won't let go of Noor.
We'll go to GT when we get there. But Sunrisers Hyderabad, let's pick out some big names from the big pool that we've made up. Any other areas to possibly address? Primary success was the explosive batting, Robbie. But if you guys agree, I think Bhuvaneshwar, Natarajan and Cummins were quite potent in that bowling combination. So are we picking a pacer from this list for SRH?
I'm picking Mohammad Shami, why not?
Shami?
If you can get Mohammad Shami, then he'll be an ideal combination for Pat Cummins. If you're not getting Bhuvi, then why not Mohammad Shami? An ideal new ball bowler.
So Shami, Zampa, Siraj goes back
for me. Siraj. I want to send Siraj back home. He knows those conditions really well. I think it'll do him a world of good when he plays with the likes of a Pat Cummins, and the exchange of ideas and the exchange of what they're thinking about and how they bowl. Because they're pretty similar bowlers, hit the deck kind of bowlers, right? And they get a little bit of movement off the seam. So we've seen Pat Cummins come in and use those slow deliveries, slow bouncers. Could be a lot for Siraj to learn from him, and a lot of exchange of ideas, which I think will benefit both of them.
To the defending champions now, and Kolkata Knight Riders, the defending champions who haven't retained their captain. Shreyas Iyer doesn't make it to the list, and it was very interesting in terms of their retention because Rinku Singh was 13, Narayan Russell and Varun were 12 each. Ramandeep Singh and Harshit Rana were both uncapped players at the time of retention, so Harshit is still an uncapped player. So they were retained as two uncapped options. They don't have any more slots to fill. No RTMs. Who are they going shopping for in terms of a captain, perhaps, Robbie?
Pull out the big list.
Let's pull out the big pool, guys. Let's pull out the big pool to help our experts pick out one name. I like Joss Butler, though.
I love Joss Butler for KKR. I just absolutely adore him for KKR. I think he'll be such a great pick for KKR. And I think
captain?
Could be as captain as well. Because Joss is a very good leader of a group. And he is very empathetic and someone who actually sits down and listens to you and tries to understand your point of view and is very clear with his communication. He's an explosive batsman but a very soft-spoken human being. So I think he does a great job at being in the leadership group. I've seen him in the leadership group in RR, and I know that he will play that role exceptionally well if he gets the opportunity at KKR.
I think in the picking order they'll have Phil Salt and then they have Joss Butler.
Yeah.
Whoever comes in that list, they will go for both of them.
But they will also look for a leader also.
No, I know that. What I'm trying to say that if they get Phil Salt, then maybe they can look at some other options as the leader. If they can get Joss Butler right at the top, then that issue of having a captain goes out of the window, because the kind of start that KKR have got in the past has also always been dependent heavily on the openers. I think Sunil Narayan and Phil Salt have done that for them in the past. So I think they would look to have that kind of combination. So if not Phil Salt, then it has to be Josh Butler.
So just in case Salt comes back into the KKR setup, do they go back for Shreyas once again?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think that's been done with.
Yeah,
I think Shreyas, I'm looking at Delhi Capitals.
Give us a captain.
Nitish Rana. Someone who served KKR for a really long time. I think has been a very solid IPL player. I think has been very unlucky to have not played for India in all of this time. I think he's just got...
Chennai Super Kings, and what have they done in terms of their retention, and what could be their key gaps?
CSK's Mahi will roar again in the yellow. The five-time title-winning captain has been retained as an uncapped player at just 4 crore rupees. Last year's skipper Ruturaj Gaikwad and the talismanic Ravindra Jadeja have been retained at 18 crore rupees each. The other two retentions for the Chennai team are Lankan pacer Matisha Pathirana at 13 crore rupees and all-rounder Shivam Dube at 12 crores. With Thala Dhoni set to play another season and 55 crore rupees remaining in their purse, CSK is looking to bolster their squad further in the mega auction.
Traditionally, Chennai Super Kings look to retain most of their core, and that's what their strategy will be in the auction as well. Ruturaj Gaikwad, Shivam Dube, Jadeja and Dhoni, a spot or two in the top order, and perhaps a lot of options in terms of the ball. A lot of people talking about R. Ashwin and how he could finish at Chennai Super Kings. Ruturaj to continue as captain is going to be my first question, or are they going shopping for a captain in the auction?
No, they're not going shopping for a captain. I don't think they should go shopping for a captain. It would cause a lot of confusion. I think they're going to stay with him. If I know CSK in the few years that I've played with them, I feel like they will stay with Rutu. And Rutu's done well. I think for his first season, he's done, like, he almost qualified and had a fairly good season. It's similar, very similar first season to which MS Dhoni had, if I'm not wrong. So I think he will continue to lead. I think the first pick will be about Rachin Ravindra or Devin Conway. Who are they going to pick as a right to match? Because with the two of them and the fact that they had Moeen Ali and Daryl Mitchell in their squad last year, it became a problem of plenty actually for them. So what will they look to? Who will they look to kind of fill in that gap and use a right to match? I have a feeling they might look like Devin Conway because he also gives you that option to wicket keep. And if they don't get a big player or a big brand like someone like a Rishabh Pant, who I feel they might go hard for, if they get a player like Rishabh Pant, who they could go hard for, they go hard for him, they get him, then a lot of these other pieces will become like replaceable, I feel.
So your one RTM is Conway over Rachin?
Yeah, I would go Conway
over Rachin. All right, so that could be something to look out for in the mega auction. But 55 crores left. Will they break the bank for anyone from our big pool? So the marquee set, like you call it.
I just get a feeling they may go for Rishabh Pant, because I feel that this is the right time to ease him in. And I think the kind of character Rishabh Pant is, he gets along very well with MS Dhoni. I'm sure he must be having that kind of chat. So if you can pick one player from this entire pool that we see here, it has to be Rishabh Pant. And they may very well break the bank for Rishabh Pant, because once you get him in, he adds a different kind of a dimension altogether.
Give us a number for Rishabh Pant.
I think they can stretch it till about 20, and then they need to be very frugal in their other buys. So then leave aside your RTM, you go for Rishabh Pant and look at getting some more exciting Indian players.
Young talent, yeah.
Well, any other Indian pacers? Slightly more experienced, perhaps?
Maybe a Bhuvi. They could go for a Bhuvi. I feel maybe a Bhuvi and a Harshal Patel or a Nattu could be certain options, because they're the proven factors and they've done fairly well, and there's a fair amount of experience.
Hi, I'm Suren, and I'm struggling. I know you want to know why, but I can't tell you yet.
A few moments later.
Finally, it's such a relief to see the venue for the Tata IPL auction, and I know you have been wondering exactly what am I carrying in this suitcase. Well, it's something without which the Tata IPL auction can't get underway. It's something the team owners are waiting for. So let me just hand this over and my job's done.
That's just first of the 100 bags, Suren.
You're kidding me, right? You're telling me that I have to haul 99 more bags like these?
The wait is over. Tata IPL 2025 Mega Auction is here.
1075, 2475. Sold.
A colossal amount of 641.5 crore rupees on the table to spend across 10 teams. Over 500 talented cricketers in frame, but only 204 slots up for grabs. Big names like Rishabh Pant, KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer set to go under the hammer. With a host of overseas and other Indian superstars in the mix. This auction is bigger than ever. The Indian Premier League makes a grand entry into Saudi Arabia, where the two-day bidding war begins in an hour. All roads lead to Jeddah as we count down to the mega auction.
The D-Day is finally here. Cricket's biggest marketplace is open for business. Over 641.5 crores about to be spent over the next couple of days as livelihoods, dreams are made. Welcome to Mega Auction Live, brought to you by GPay. I'm Abhinav Mukund and I'm in the company of three fine gentlemen. Unlike Suren, who's lost his way in Jeddah, we hope to find him pretty soon. But I've got an IPL coach, an IPL captain, and a six-team IPL veteran alongside me. I've got Mike Hessen first. Mike, great to have you here. Will 25 crores be breached? Straight into it. This
Yeah,
auction.
I think we will. I think we'll have at least one, maybe two, that'll go over 25. We had a little bit of a taste of it yesterday. I don't think the prices will be quite as high as yesterday, but don't be surprised if Rishabh Pant goes over 25, even closer to 28. And then KL Rahul, if he comes second, which he will obviously in the second group, maybe close to 25.
Wow, that's a lot of money already being spoken. Owen Morgan, welcome to the show. Great to have you here as always. You agree with him? You think 25 crores will be breached quite easily, two of them?
Yeah, good afternoon. Great to be here. What an exciting day. I think it will and it should. The game naturally takes a good progression over the years and naturally players should become more and more valuable. But this year is more unique than any others. We have a mega auction where one of India's biggest stars and young talents and young leaders is available to be bought. And there is a huge amount of money to be spent here today. So I'd envisage Rishabh Pant going for an absolute astonishing amount of money. I might anticipate even getting as close to 30 crores, which is unheard of in previous auctions. Last year we were blown away with Stark and Pat Cummins. Normally it's the all-rounders. Last year, fast bowlers. This year, it's about the local talent. So I'm unbelievably excited. I think we're going to see money just shedded absolutely everywhere. Ricky Ponting's going to be walking in, throwing it around. He's going to see Rishabh Pant, I think, and throw it straight at him.
Well, we're all excited to see that money being thrown. Robbie, what about you? Your initial thoughts on the auction?
Well, see, the mini auctions are always about the foreign players. The mega auctions are always about the Indian players. So I see the Indian players going for a big bag of money. A couple of them, a few of them perhaps, will take home a massive bag. Rishabh Pant being one of them. I completely agree with the two gentlemen here on my left, and I agree that 25 to 30 is where Rishabh is going to find his sweet spot. And whoever he goes to, I think, will He'll bring a lot of value to that team in every way, shape or form, in the way that this sport is built up, even along the business side of things. KL Rahul, Shreyas Iyer for me, the other two will also be big buys as far as I'm concerned. Bowlers, I think Arshdeep Singh will be the most expensive bowler going around this IPL.
Well, settle in, gentlemen, because all you guys are talking about 25, 30 in crores. So
yes,
let's just reconfirm that. But one man who's reached the venue quite safe and who's going to take us through that auction room, because we are nervous as is, but the franchisees will be even more nervous. Vishnu takes us through that auction room in Jeddah.
I'm at the Abadi Al Johar Arena and I've entered the auction room. This is where all the action will unfold and a bidding war to take place for the next 2 days. Now, as you can see around me, the tables are set. The top guys from all the 10 teams will be here engaged in a heated battle. Now, heart of the action, you ask? That's right over there. The rehearsals are on now, but that will be replaced by Mallika Sagar in just a few minutes. A total of 577 players up for grabs, but somehow I get a sense that all eyes will be trained right over here. Top guys from Punjab, when the big players and the marquee players are called out, it is to be seen with a budget of 110.5 crores. The head coach, Ricky Ponting, has his job cut out for it.
All eyes on Project Ponting and the big money they're about to spend in this auction. That's the purse remaining for all teams, but keep a lookout for Punjab in the first hour itself. 110.5 crores is what Punjab have, closely followed by RCB, and then a lot of teams above that 50 crore range. The teams may have some work to do. Mumbai Indians, Sunrisers and Rajasthan Royals under the 50 crore mark. As always, we ask the fans who will be the most expensive player in this mega auction. And that's the question we ask the fans. You can go on JioCinema mobile app. Who will be the most expensive player in this mega auction? No surprises there. Rishabh Pant is at 64%. And I think I'm going to jump straight to Owen Morgan, who was part of our war room yesterday, representing Punjab. Picked him for a whopping 33 crores. Was that inflated slightly, or you still think that Rishabh Pant is that much value as a leader, as a keeper, as a middle order batter? He will go the distance like what the fans say.
Yeah, here I think they've hit the nail on the head. I think he will be the most expensive probably by 5 or 6 crores if you're putting money and value to it. But if you want a player like that, and you have to understand supply and demand, normally in a big auction, you will say you will get like-for-like player along the line. But there is a certain group and calibre of player that this young man sits in, where he is as good as anybody around the world. And it comes to just his batting and isolated value at that. I mean, he's as good as anybody. He's left-handed. He can bat in the middle order. He's moved up to 3 in various different seasons over the years. But the value that he brings as a leader as well, I actually think is his outstanding feature, just simply because you go back to the World Cup final last year in Barbados. Rohit Sharma has enough on his plate. He's trying to get back in the game. South Africa are taking the game away from them. It looked like a penalty kick for them. The young man, it's one thing doing things in the heat of the moment, but actually taking time to slow the game down allowed Rohit Sharma to think slowly, manipulate the pace of play, get Jasprit Bumrah back into the game, and that was the turning point for me. So leadership is worth its weight in gold. Punjab, how many times have we said that they will reset? They come in with 110 crores or so. They need to spend their money. History has suggested that they've spent it on individuals over the years. I want to see them spend every rupee when it comes to this year's auction and both get good value but look long-term as well. And I've no doubt Ricky Ponting will go in with that attitude as new coach there for Kings.
Yeah, coming from a World Cup winning captain yourself, youngsters watching, it's good money to be aware of the game. You'll get a few more crores in the auction. Game awareness is so important. We did a mock auction yesterday. We had a war room where all of us were involved in picking for particular teams. I was part of GT, Mike Hessen was part of RCB, and he ended up picking the second most expensive buy in KL Rahul. It is an indicative number, yes, but it is also indicative to the fact that which teams want certain players. So Rishabh Pant and KL Rahul are pretty similar in terms of their skill sets, but Pant is a middle order batter, KL Rahul is more of an opening batter. The reasons behind going for KL Rahul, Mike Hesson?
Well, I think RCB in this instant went hard for Rishabh Pant, and I think they will do that again today. I mean, I think he is the priority player for at least two sides. Probably, yeah, at least those two. The biggest purse, I think they will have a pretty good dip at him. Next, if you miss out on that, then it's supply and demand. You know, obviously with Shreyas, you've got the captain, but RCB have lost DK from a keeping perspective. Obviously, KL knows Chinnaswamy very well. He is a similar player to Virat Kohli, so that's why I think they would like to go for Rishabh Pant initially. He can slot in the middle there, and then it's far easier to get an overseas opener and potentially a keeper at a base price or similar, and then you can balance your side a little bit better with Rishabh. So I think that would be their preferred option, but we know how much money Punjab have got, but Punjab have also got to be disciplined. Like, they've got a big advantage at the moment, but if they overspend in that first set, they could find themselves very much back to the pack. So they have to be quite patient and disciplined and really prioritise who they want to go for and not overpay for too many. They might overpay for Rishabh if he's their number one priority, but then they've got to get unders for another one or two that they want to get as well.
How do you even put a cap on that? And I'm sure that all of these teams will be quite nervous going into the auction, but it always creates a buzz, does the IPL auction, and it's a mega auction. We've got a special distillery segment for you where these are our top trending players. KL Rahul, 11%, that's the social buzz, powered by Distillery, and KL Rahul is at 11%, 9% is Rishabh Pant, Shreyas Iyer comes in at 5%, and Yuzvendra Chahal is another player that was also highly in demand. These are the top trending players on social media. Rishabh Pant and KL Rahul still fighting at the top. Well, Shreyas Iyer, Joss Butler also makes the list. Siraj is also there, but yeah, these are the players that are the hot picks in terms of the IPL auction itself. We know for sure they're going to go in big money, but let's take a look at the auction in numbers. So if you just split it out in numbers, and if you take a look at the number of players that would go in the first set, you've got two marquee sets, but 577 players, 367 Indians, overall purse of 641.5 crore. You've got to have a minimum squad composition of 15, maximum of 25 with 8 overseas players. Let's not forget there is the impact player rule as well. But over and above that, these are the most important things. Take a screenshot if you wish of this, because RTM rules in the Tata IPL auction. One franchise, if they buy back a player from last season's squad, the final bid, the other franchise can also raise the price up. As we saw with the War Room yesterday, former team can use the same RTM card again to match the increased bid to buy back the player. So these are so important, and it also adds the value, because yesterday I think we saw a glimpse of it, Robbie, because if two teams are going for it and you have the RTM card, you will not bid for the player and you'll be happy to take him at a cheaper price. Of course. This adds a little bit of value, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and it adds a little bit of complexity to the whole aspect of the auction as well, right? And you got to strategize. It's also like Hess said, it's also about supply and demand. Like, what are the players you need? Who are the backup players for that particular player you're going for? What are the gaps that you're trying to fill within your squad? And then who are your 3 or 4 options based on each player that you're looking to, or each gap that you're looking to fill? And then based on that, where does this player that has right to match come into play? For example, an Ashutosh Sharma, like for Punjab Kings, a player like him will be a high value player that a lot of teams will also have an eye on, right? But if Punjab have not been disciplined, like you mentioned, at the start of the auction, and they have been slightly indisciplined along the way, they could lose out on a player like him, because they won't have the ability or the bank to have the right to use the right to match. So it's a very nuanced thing. Like, I think just before we started, Hess was mentioning about how this is a different animal altogether. The auctions are generally a different animal. It's like you never really know what you're getting. It's like you're going out to hunt and you're just going to figure things out on the fly, right? And that's exactly what this is going to be about. And for every team, I can imagine all the owners, the stakeholders, all being very nervous, because they hope to get the players they want and they need. Yeah. And they hope that even if they don't, they're still able to build up a good squad, which becomes critical. And you also have to look at the business side of things. This is not just about cricket. When there's that much value on the line, there's not much money on the line, there's a whole other aspect that comes into play. right? For example, a player like Rishabh Pant, his story in the last 2 years, that has its own value in today's world. The comeback that he's made, the brand value that brings along to any franchise is tremendous.
Yeah.
So there are so many different aspects that one needs to pay attention to when they're picking players for their squad.
And I'm sure Punjab will be thinking of all of that brand value. You've got your pens ready, you've got your notebooks ready, we've got our devices ready. But are the teams ready to shell out the money? Let's take a look at the teams with the maximum amount of purse.
The biggest headline of this year's retentions was Delhi Capitals letting go of Rishabh Pant, a move that surprised everyone.